Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, the Two Opinionated podcast could really use your help. And it's easy, it's free. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, imdb.com, named us a top 100 podcast. We came in at number 82. That's a big deal because there's 15 million podcasts and growing. So to be named to anybody's top 100 list, pretty big deal for us. And the way you can help is to go to imdb.com, look up the Two Opinionated podcast, and that's it. Just bringing our page up. That traffic really helps us out. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. All we ask is that you subscribe. It's also free, but that really helps us to attract these amazing guests that we keep bringing on the program. And that's it. Two easy ways for you to support us, and we would really appreciate the help. Now let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Two Opinionated. So excited today. I've got actor, singer, comedian, writer, Vincent Martella with me. So welcome, Vincent.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
You know, I let everybody know that you were coming on, and I have got the biggest response from the family. The every well, now they're grown,
Yeah,
but every child we've had, Phineas and Ferb fan, of course, of
thank you.
course.
Yeah, I mean that's actually something that's so amazing about the show returning now for more seasons is that it's been, multiple generations now
That's
are
right.
people who love the show. So I'm in my early 30s and I worked on the show all my teenage years, and I think at its like peak of its absolute, most popular, I was like 17. I was about 18.
Yeah.
And so there are a lot of people who are my age who have kids of their own who they're showing the show to now. They're introducing them. And that's such an amazing part about working on a show like this is that it means a lot to now multiple generations of families.
Well, and that's what's happening with us. I'm in the grandparent stage, so
Yeah.
they're all my grandkids are now watching the old episodes, and then the kids who are now grown, they're all around your age.
Yeah.
They're watching the new episodes.
Oh, great. That makes me so happy. I love that so much.
Well, Vincent, okay, so I jumped ahead a little bit. Let's back up just a little.
Let's do
You know,
it.
you've been doing this for a long time. Talk a little bit about what got you into acting, why you wanted to go into the business. It's a difficult business. Talk a little about that.
It is, yeah. I've been an actor since I was, yeah, a child, right before I was a teenager. And basically it was because I really enjoyed doing, school plays and things like that. I grew up in Florida, and there is a little bit of a entertainment industry there. I mean, in the
Right.
90s, they were really trying to move a lot of the entertainment industry there, and that never quite happened. But
It's so hot.
yeah, it never happened. They were trying to make it Hollywood East, and it just never really took off. I mean, Atlanta has replaced that.
Atlanta
Atlanta
has
is
replaced it. Yeah.
legitimately a huge hub for filmmaking. But because of that, I was doing local theater and I was doing, school plays and things like that. And then I eventually got a commercial, and that kind of led to then auditioning for TV shows, and I did kind of guest spots and random things here and there. And then I ended up booking a really great role on a sitcom called Everybody Hates Chris, and I was one of the leads on that show. And so I worked on that show all my teenage years.
I
Almost.
watched that show with the kids, the whole show. We loved it,
Oh,
absolutely
great!
loved it, and they all knew apparently that you voiced Phineas. I had no idea.
Really,
I had
it's
no idea.
actually. I find that a lot of people do not know that and don't realize that they were watching the same actor on
Yeah.
both shows as
Well,
they
I
grew
didn't
up.
realize, but I
Yeah,
loved you on Chris. I thought that
thank
you
you.
were so good on there.
That
Pretty
was such
young
a
at the time.
Yeah, that was such a fun, important experience for my life. I mean, I was working with really, really incredible, talented people, both my age, I mean, I loved the being able to grow up with some of those kids. I mean,
Yeah.
Tyler James Williams, who plays Chris, is a fantastic actor. I mostly worked with him because of the all of our scenes took place in school, and he is doing such good work on Abbott Elementary
Boy,
now.
he is.
He's done great work on a lot of things, but Amani Hakim, who played his sister, what is now a great act. I mean, has always been a great actress, but has been an actress and director on Mythic Quest on
Oh, I love Mythic
Apple.
Quest. So she directs
Yeah.
on that. Amazing.
Yeah, I believe she directed 2 episodes, and she also is one of the leads in that show. So, it was just a really important time for me to learn a lot about the industry, working in it, as well as just learning from comedians and from writers, people who are really talented. And simultaneously, when I was working on that show, I started getting into animation,
Yeah.
booked some things that didn't really go anywhere, and then eventually ended up booking the title role of Phineas on Phineas and Ferb.
When
And
there's
now,
no way at that point you had any idea it was
oh
going to be as
no,
big as it was.
no one has. I mean, we loved the work that we were doing, and it was a very, very funny, great idea, even when I did the pilot and when we started working on the first season. But you can never know something's going to be as popular as Phineas and Ferb. We have been so lucky that our fan base has been so passionate about this show, and it is definitely my favorite thing I've ever worked on. And I've been lucky to work on a lot of really great projects. But Phineas and Ferb has been part of my life. I've been playing Phineas for, 18 years now. Like, that's a really long time to be doing anything.
Yeah.
And the character means a lot to me, and the show means a lot to me. And kind of that, as we were talking about, that multiple generation appeal of this show, that's incredibly meaningful as any kind of artist that you go, wow, this means enough to people. People care enough, it resonates with them that they're showing their whole family. So I'm so excited that we are doing a new season of Phineas and Ferb. I hope they let us do, countless seasons of the show. So
I
if it
do
does
too.
well enough, hopefully they'll let us keep playing.
Well, it's such a unique, creative concept on
It
that
is.
show, and they've been able to cross over with other genres, other shows, and it's hilarious and it fits, and that's pretty rare. It's rare, especially for an animated show, to have a life that lasts that long.
True. I mean, that's obviously a credit to Dan Povenmire and Swampy Marsh, the two creators of the show. I mean, they first wrote this show together in 1993. Like, we didn't record the pilot until 2006. It wasn't on the air until 2008. So, I mean, not a lot of people saw the vision that they
Yeah,
had. And Disney took a chance on them and said, "We see it, we understand it," and our incredible team of writers has made this show what it is. We can't do this without their amazing work, and I really admire all of them and how much how much time and creativity and effort they put into this. It's been a great ride so far.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you're very experienced now, but when you first
Thank you.
started, especially when you were on Everybody Hates Chris, was it difficult getting the comedy part down? Because comedy's kind of difficult. It's got a rhythm to it, and you got to kind of figure out where exactly to place the line or whatever. And a lot of people struggle with that. Did you have any trouble with that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I still to this day, even though I'm a pretty experienced actor, I mean, there
Yeah,
is always room to get better. I do a lot of sketch comedy, like live sketch comedy, and I'll perform for people. So I'm always trying to write and perform comedy as much as I can, and I take classes and I take workshops. Same with voice acting for my voice
yeah,
acting career is I am constantly trying to get better. There are so many people I admire who I have had the pleasure of working with, and you learn from them too. You soak up as much knowledge as you can, asking these great performers questions about why they made a decision that they made, or um, how they use a certain technique and why that works for them.
yeah.
And I've been lucky to work with a lot of great people who are willing to offer that knowledge too. On Phineas and Ferb, I've spent a lot of time in the writers' room this last season shadowing because I've written a lot of sketch comedy, but I've never gotten paid to write comedy before. And
Right.
these are some of the best comedy writers in the world. That's why they're making this show. And so I learned so much from them, and I think that's a big part of it is being open to getting better and to learning from the other actors and the other writers. And most people who consume media forget that there are like hundreds of people who make every one of these episodes or a film that we love, and it's a real it's a real team effort on all these projects. So there's always more to learn, and there's always ways to get better. And there's so many things in my career that I haven't achieved that I want to still. So I'm doing my best to this day to get better.
Any plans to step behind the camera at some point?
Oh, I'd certainly love to write for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I've directed things on my own. Like
Oh, you have? Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've written and directed tons of sketch comedy. Like I have a lot of that on my social media.
Well,
Some of
yeah,
it,
I knew you wrote. I wasn't
yeah,
sure on the directing, but yeah, that's
yeah.
really
So
great.
I don't know, in a directing capacity where I see that anytime soon, but absolutely comedy writing. That's been a big part of my life since my early 20s.
Yeah.
I moved to New York in my early 20s, and that's when I really started kind of exploring other areas of comedy and performing a lot more live and meeting a lot of really good comedians and becoming a better writer. And so
Yeah.
absolutely, I would love a chance to have a show that I've written and directed an entire pilot before that I've filmed with with friends and and that was a really really
I was
difficult
going to
long
say that's
process.
pretty amazing just by itself.
Yeah, I'm super proud of it, and I think it turned out really fun. It's obviously very hard to we're in a weird partner in this industry where it is obviously very hard to
Yes.
get anything picked up that's especially original, that's not IP driven.
Right.
But I've had some really great pitch meetings with that right now that I'm pitching that show for. And so it's definitely something I want in my future. Absolutely.
Yeah, amazing. I love that. I wanted to mention when I was in college, which was early '90s, so it's
Like
been a
10
little
years ago.
while. Been a little while, but I put myself through school. I owned a couple comic book stores,
Oh,
so I've
cool.
always been just a huge fan, big collector. And you got to voice Robin in a couple
I
of,
did.
my opinion, a couple of the best Batman stories that we've got: Death in the Family and Under the Red Hood. Uh,
Yeah.
Robin, and then, well, you were doing Jason Todd. Uh,
Yes.
my favorite Robin was always Dick Grayson, Nightwing, because of my
For
age.
sure.
But
I
my
mean,
son's, his was always Jason Todd, and just
yeah,
absolutely loved it because he was such a deep, flawed character. But
absolutely.
you got to voicing.
I have loved playing Jason Todd. I've got to do it twice, and I got to play Red Hood once. When I did Batman Death in the Family, I got to play Red Hood as well, and that was a real dream. I mean, working the Batman uh in any Batman movie is amazing. Working on DC property, I really hope I get to play Jason Todd again because there are more stories there to
Oh, there's
tell.
so many more.
And I know we all wanted to do it, and I was the first actor to ever play Jason Todd in animation. No one had played him before. It
Yeah,
was always Dick Grayson
I
and
didn't
sometimes.
realize that, but yeah, amazing.
Yeah, so I was the very first person to do that, and it is such a pleasure. And I love when I go to Comic Cons and things like that, and people will. I see a lot of cosplay Red Hood. Like I see
Yes.
a lot of Red Hoods, and people come up with the mask and have me sign the Red Hood mask, and that's really sick. I've got I've got a Red Hood like Funko Pop on my bookshelf. You can't see it
Yep.
obviously over there, but I've got my collection of Batman graphic novels as well. Because I love comic books too. And we actually just had a really cool thing happen with Phineas and Ferb and Marvel is we had three different variant covers of Marvel comics that have Phineas and Ferb art on the covers. And I posted a whole thing on my
Love
TikTok
that.
and on my Instagram Reels about it, showing off all the art for the three of them, and it's really cool. They have a really cool Fantastic Four one where Phineas is Mr. Fantastic, and it's really
Oh, I
really
got to
awesome.
check that out.
It's super cool. Yeah, if you go on my social media, you can see them, but they're selling them in comic book shops right now. I I need to get through the graphic novel that I'm reading right now. I've been reading it when I travel. I just haven't had enough time to finish it. I've been enjoying it. I'd somehow never read Daredevil Born Again.
Oh, you
Uh,
hadn't? Well,
I
yeah,
had
and of
never read
course
it.
the show kind of
And the
touches on
show
some of
came
that
out, and so I was
storyline.
like,
Yeah.
I need to read this graphic novel because I'd never read that
Well,
one. So
it's Frank Miller, isn't it? Born
yeah,
Again.
I literally have it right here on my desk. Yeah, so that's what
Oh,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
right now. But yeah, I love comic books, and I've had the great pleasure of getting to work on some fun comic book stuff. I hope I get to in the future. I really do.
Well, I think you will. One thing I've learned through the podcast is that voice acting, once you're kind of in, you're in. It's even more than just regular acting. That voice community a little tighter, but once you're in it, they tend to kind of just cycle through the same voice actors, which was kind of neat.
Yeah, I'm still not I'm not quite at that level yet that I want to be at. I mean, there you are right about that. It is a very tight-knit community. It's a hard skill to completely hone in on, and not
Yeah.
as many people. I don't think now more than ever, because of social media and because there are voice actors who are doing podcasts like this
Yeah.
and have social media. I think now there's a bit more access to voice acting.
Yes.
But just for years, no one, there weren't even classes that you could take, and now there are. But I dream of becoming one of those actors that you're talking about, where uh, I've played such a variety of characters on a lot of different shows where I've just come in and done kind of additional voices where I'm, playing random tourist or
Right. Well,
cop
that's a
number
great way to
four.
kind of hone your craft.
It is. You get to, and so I've really more and more in my career tried to become more of a Swiss Army knife in that regard of like I can really do anything and I can shift my voice in a lot of ways. And I do it plenty on the new seasons of Phineas and Ferb where I am playing countless side characters. And so yeah, I hope one day I get to become one of those people where a casting director or a voice director will see a role and go, "Oh, I know exactly who can nail that. That's Vincent Martella. Let's just call him because I know for a fact he can do that." So I hope I get to do that.
I think you will.
Thank
I
you.
think you
Yeah.
will. You were a great Jason Todd, so they should definitely.
Thanks.
No need to get anybody else. You've got it. That's a
There
that's
and like I
that's
said,
Jason Todd.
there are more stories to tell with that character, and there are more fun things to do with those stories. So that's one reason too. I hope to explore it. Is because he is
There's
so good.
there's a comic book. It's been a few years ago that was Red Hood and the Outlaws. I think was the name of it. Have
Yeah,
you have you seen this one?
I've heard of it. I have not read it though.
Yeah, it's got so it's Red Hood and then or Jason Todd, and then it's got Starfire, and it's got Speedy, except he's in his other identity as Arsenal. So he doesn't
Okay.
have
Yeah,
the
yeah.
bow, he's got guns. But so it's a weird pairing, and they get into just nonsense stuff in the comics. But I don't think they've ever done that as an
No,
anime.
they definitely haven't.
So that would be kind of it's kind of like everybody's grown up.
Yeah,
So they're it's a little different version than we normally get, especially with Jason Todd. But it was pretty good.
that's
Pretty good. I
awesome.
kind of like to see that one. That's because it's such a weird pairing. And Starfire is such a great character. We haven't seen a ton of her outside of the
Outside of Teen Titans, yeah, yeah, which is lasted a really long time. So yeah, I'm sure people would like to see her in a different environment.
yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be kind of neat. I was a big fan of you on Walking Dead,
Oh, thank you.
which
Thank you.
is an Atlanta-based show.
It was, yeah, that was a really, really fun show. It was one of the rare times where I was a really huge fan of something and then got to be on that project. That doesn't happen all the time.
No.
And I had an absolutely amazing time working on that show. It was, at the time, it was the biggest show on TV.
Oh
So just
yeah.
the amount of money that they were able to spend uh, on the sets and on the makeup and the hair and just everything about it was incredible. I had a blast working on obviously I died, but it was cool because
Most people do on that
I
show.
got to play a person and a zombie. So I didn't just die. I got to also be a zombie.
Awesome.
So for me, that was, I got to die twice. It was great.
Well, the show is one of those rare shows that was equal to the comics. I mean, it was a
Yeah,
little bit different.
it is
In the
different.
comics, honestly, probably more violent, if you can believe
Yeah,
it.
it's definitely different. Yeah.
But both of them really strong. That was a great adaptation. And of course, it's still kind of going. They're still putting
Yeah, they
out.
have a million spin-offs. Yeah, there is always something going on with the Walking Dead universe.
One of my favorite interviews that I've got to do on this show was I did a panel interview, and it had 8 or 10 of the background actors. So they were like
Oh yeah, the Walkers. Yeah.
they played the walkers, they played saviors, all that, and it was just because most of them they were just doing it because they love to dress up and be a zombie.
Yeah,
They weren't really serious about acting. They just loved to be out there.
Yeah, it has had such a community. I know it's tapered off in a different way now, but yeah, I mean they were doing like zombie cruises and stuff when that show was at the height of the popularity that it was at. That was a real phenomenon. That and Game of Thrones were like they kind of just owned television
Oh
for a
yeah.
couple years there. Yeah.
I was such a I read I was reading Game of Thrones back when I had my comic stores, and I would
Yeah.
tell people for years, I was like, you got to read this. It's amazing. It's the best.
It's my favorite book series. I love
Well,
I
I
love
couldn't
the
get
zombie
anybody to
environment.
read them. And me
Yeah.
too. It was between that and The Wheel of Time. Those were my two favorite series,
Yeah.
but I couldn't get anybody to read them. And then the show comes out, and all these people coming up to me and be like, have you seen this show? And I'm like, are you kidding me?
You're like, I've been telling you for 10 years. Well, I almost feel like bad about recommending it now. Like I almost feel bad where I'm like, you got to read the books because it's actually torture for all of us now that we're
It
waiting so
is.
long in between these books.
Well,
Uh,
poor George. I mean, I don't think he had any idea that they'd be
no,
able to pass him up. I mean, how would he know?
no, and yeah, it just there's a million things going on in his career, and when you're an author, the dream, I guess, is to obviously have your work be the most important thing in the culture,
Yeah.
and yeah, he's got a million different shows that he's working on,
I mean,
and
do you think we ever see his, end of that series?
my I would say no,
Yeah.
because it has been what 15 years
Yeah. It's the last one.
since the last one, and he's kind of gone back on. At first it was supposed to be three, and then it was supposed to be five, and
Right.
then now it's seven. And if it's taking him this long to write six, seven, which is going to be clearly the most important book out of all of them,
Yeah.
I don't see any way it takes him any less time to write the seventh book.
No.
So I don't know.
It's gonna be tough at
I don't
his
know how we
pace.
ever. I don't know how we ever get a seventh book just with
Well,
banging.
I have this, and I have no way of knowing, but I have this theory that the ending we got on the show was exactly the ending he had planned for the books. He just didn't write it for the show
Yeah.
because you could tell exactly as soon as they passed up his writing, the show suffered. But I think they had the ending. He just hadn't written it yet.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what's causing him trouble with the books because he probably doesn't want to write the same story now. He's wanting to change it a little bit. And
Yeah.
that's
And
So
and
yeah, I'm
there
with
are
you. I don't think
I have a million theories. Like I could talk for hours about how I think some of the things from the show that like ended up happening will happen in the books in different ways because also the show excluded so many key
yeah.
players who are doing huge things by the end of book five.
Well, we got no cat. That was
Yeah.
one. And
Yeah.
there was a ton of examples, but that was one.
And no young Griff, which is
Oh.
like the biggest like I don't want to spoil for any of your
Well, at this point, I think we're okay. But yeah,
yeah,
no
but I
young
just
Griff, which was a big part of the books.
yeah, like literally it made me like sit up in bed in shock of like, oh my God, I can't believe this other thing is happening. And so they're just that not even being in the show at all.
I know.
My theory
The
is
first
that
three books, I think, maybe some of the best books ever
yeah,
written.
yeah, three
The
is my
fourth and
favorite.
fifth were good, but not quite the same level. But those first three books, unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
hope
mean,
we
that
get
first time, do you remember reading the Red Wedding?
yeah,
I was
yeah,
such a Rob Stark fan, and I
yeah.
read that chapter. And my buddy of mine was reading it at the same time. I had set the book down for like 3 weeks. I couldn't pick it back up. I was so
It's so
upset
violently
about
mad.
Rob.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but that's why it's so great.
No, I agree. I really hope we get the rest of them because yeah, I've read everything in the Song of Ice and Fire universe, and I love Fire and Blood. I guess we're getting a Night of the Seven Kingdoms
That's what they're
show.
saying. Yeah.
But
Well, and the new show, it's been great.
yeah, the new show is great. Yeah, I do enjoy the new show a lot. There's just a lot of time in between the seasons, so
Yeah.
it's tough. I think they lose some of their attention as people are
You
like
lose
forget that
momentum when you do it
yeah,
that
people
long.
forget that it happened. Um, but yeah, I like that show a lot.
Yeah. I know. I'm so happy that you're a fan.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we wrote it or something, like we care like that.
Well,
Yeah.
a lot of times I'll interview actors and they're terrific, and but I'll ask them about what they're doing. They'll be like, "Yeah, I had no idea,"
Yeah.
and they were fine with that, which that's great. But I love it when actors are actually fans of the things that they're working on, or just
Oh,
fans
absolutely.
of the genre. That's pretty great.
Yeah, no, I am definitely a big fan of Phineas and Ferb and the fact that I work on it and the scripts that we get, and I'm always excited seeing the new stories. So it's a pleasure to me whenever I get to work on things that I'm like really passionate about and really
Yeah,
excited. So I get what you're saying.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Did you get to work some on the animated, Chris?
Yes, oh yeah, I did. For Everybody Still Hates Chris. Yeah, I came in and I played like six different characters on that show. I did not play myself. I didn't play my own character, but they
That's
were like, "Hey,
funny.
you're a voice actor. Do you want to come in and like play a bunch of like additional voices?" And so I got to do what I was telling you, where I every single voice that I did on that show is a character. It is much different than my speaking voice. It's you would never know that it's me. And yeah, I played I think it was six characters on that show. It was very fun. I
That's
played
awesome.
everything from like a news reporter to some dude, selling like shoes out of his trunk. Like I was doing everything on that show. It was great. It was very
I mean,
fun. I
that's
don't know if
pretty
we're gonna
great.
do any more of that. I'm not sure. I know they had a 2-season pickup initially, and we did it all, but that was a while ago now, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're gonna do more.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know either. I haven't
Yeah,
heard. I'd interviewed Gunnar Sizemore, who does one of the voice. I
he
interviewed
plays
his.
me.
Yeah, he plays you. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't interview him, but I interviewed his dad,
Oh,
and we were talking about his dad's an actor, and we were talking about
what's his dad do?
he's an actor. He's uh his name's Kevin Sizemore, and yeah, look him up because he's been in a ton of stuff.
Interesting. I will. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, so he was talking. He's very proud of his son. And he's talking. We had a little Chris discussion. Uh, but yeah, that's right. I forgot that he was playing your character.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, I never met his father or anything like that, but I met him once. Very nice guy.
Yeah. See, I kind of feel like they should have your character from the show, but played by Gunner, run into you as an actor, but in animated form. And then you
Ju-
guys could just have a little moment,
Just
like,
an actual conversation.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if they come back, maybe they'll do it.
You did a show called Camp WWE.
Yeah.
Something.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think you voiced Drew McIntyre, is who I believe you voiced.
Yeah. I actually cannot remember what I did on this show.
Yeah. Well, I've never seen it either, but there was a period of time where my son and I way into wrestling, mostly because he was into wrestling. And Drew
Yeah.
McIntyre was one of his favorites. So I saw that you had voiced him. I was like, oh, yeah, okay.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's so funny because animation takes so long whenever we work on this
Yeah.
stuff. Sometimes it'll be like 2-3 years by the time
Right.
it's out. It's like, but that's awesome. No, I'm working on like two other things for Disney right now that are super fun as well. So hopefully your family will enjoy those two when I can talk about them and then when they come out because there's some fun
Oh, I'm
characters.
sure we will. Well, once you're a part of Disney, you're in.
Yeah, and that's definitely my dream. I'm a Disney person in general. I love going to the
Yeah.
parks. I love being there. I love Disney films. I love Pixar. Big fan of all the Marvel movies, and so getting a chance to be part of that family and like my dream is to be a Disney legend one day. I wanna get my hands in the cement at
Yes.
the studios. Yeah. And so getting to play such an important character for them for so long it's a good way to get myself towards that.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be pretty great. Have you got to voice anybody from Marvel yet?
From Marvel, no. No, just DC. I've
Oh yeah,
worked
we
we
got to
did a, we
fix
did a
that.
we did a Phineas and Ferb Marvel crossover
Yeah, that's
episode.
one of our favorites.
So we did that, but I've never voiced anybody in Marvel yet. I'd like to. I've auditioned for them, but I never have. and I've never done a Lucasfilm cartoon. I want to do that as well. Obviously, I'd love to work Star Wars.
When there's so many of them now.
There's so much. Yeah, there's
So
so
you
much
do have some, yeah, you got a little bit of a chance to get, well, and not just the, the animated side has really grown in Star Wars
Yeah,
too.
it totally has. Yeah, they're constantly working and developing new things. So the opportunities will be there. Hopefully, I'll get a chance
Yeah.
to go over there for sure because I love Star Wars.
Yeah, I know. I was a Star Wars kid. I was 8 years old in '77 when it came out, and
Oh, wow.
honestly, the as great as the movie was at that time, and it was great. It was the toys. I
Yeah.
from Christmas from like '77 to the early '80s, the best time because it was all Star Wars toys.
Yeah, I mean, it was even that way when I was a kid because the prequel trilogy was coming out the whole
Yeah,
time that
yeah.
I was growing
Well, and
up,
you
and
probably, yeah, we had Power of the Force figures came out.
yeah, it was just
Yeah,
the best. Just I almost feel like the toys of like the 90s were a different era in the early 2000s of
agree.
like such a great time to be a kid for toys. Uh,
Yes,
I feel like everything is not as detailed now and not as cool
I
except
know.
for
I
Lego.
mean, well, and it's
Legos are still killing it. Star Wars Legos are
yes,
as good as they've ever been. They are probably peaking right now.
yeah, they're yeah, and well, and the animated stuff they're doing with the Lego characters is great. They do
Yeah,
such
it's super fun.
a good job with those. When I had those stores, I had them before the prequels came out, but I knew they were coming. Everybody was talking about them, so I just started trading comic books for any Star Wars toys I could get.
That's really fun.
In anticipation. Well, I've got pictures of we set the store up with big displays, and we might have a couple of dozen AT-ATs walking around.
Yeah.
Just the whole store would be stars. It was the best time, and of course sold all that stuff at the time, but I had the best time just setting it up. It was like being a kid again.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. I love that. I love that.
Well, and being honest, I traded for everything with that store. I had free satellite TV because I traded comic books for it. And at that time, DirecTV didn't exist. It was Prime Star.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I traded for a one of those old console TVs from the '80s, a refrigerator. I mean, everything in the store. I just traded comic.
Wow,
I
you
was
were
a poor
killing it,
college
man.
kid. I didn't have any money.
Yeah, that's great. You
Yeah.
were
Oh,
you
it
were
was the
putting the
best.
store to its ultimate use.
That's right. It's amazing how much you can make with grocery store brand soda pop and cheap chips.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
comic book, especially the younger comic book people, they'll eat that stuff up.
yeah. They don't
Like,
care.
yeah, I'm paying 10 cents for a can of pop and selling it for $1. I was like, it's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good deal.
You've got to do a little bit with let's see, Goosebumps, right?
Yeah, oh
R.L.
yeah,
Stein.
I worked on a show when I was like 20 years old,
Yeah.
called R.L. Stein's The Haunting
Oh, The
Hour.
Haunted. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, so I filmed that. I filmed that in Vancouver, which was really fun. And yeah, it was just a really silly, kids horror, like serialized, they were kind of like Twilight Zone episodes for
That's right.
kids. And so it was really goofy and silly and fun.
Well, and
But
they still do some of those. I mean, the R.L. Stein stuff.
okay,
It's a
yeah,
lot
I
of
was about
stuff
to say
they
they
don't.
do the Goosebumps movies and stuff now, so maybe they have something similar to that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but it was super super fun. I had a great time working on it. And yeah, I got to spend like a weekend, maybe like 10 days in Vancouver filming that, and it was very very silly. I had to do a French accent the whole time. It was
Well, yeah, because I thought your character was like a Jean or something like that, right?
yeah, like a French like alien type thing, like secretly an alien. It was very, very silly and very fun. But yeah, I think it benefited me greatly that I was a voice actor because I could go in there and work with a dialect coach and then,
Yeah.
um do this French accent the whole time.
Do you speak French?
No, no, absolutely not.
That makes it better.
Yeah, not at all. No, but I worked with a dialect coach for a while, and I did okay. I did all right, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. Yeah. Do you for the animated stuff, do you normally go into the studio or are you doing that stuff at home and sending it
No,
in?
I always go into studio. I mean, the only times we really record from home are yeah, for commercial work and things like that. But anything that we're doing on Phineas and Ferb or on Hamster and Gretel, which is another Disney show I work on, they want everyone to be in studio. They want everyone to have the exact same quality setup so that everything matches
Right.
perfectly. So we all go into the studio for that. And I'm in there, yeah, every single week.
I think that'd be easier doing that because I know some people will work out of home, but you're
Yeah.
not bouncing off of anybody else. So it's just you in a vacuum basically, and that I think
Yeah,
would
and
be
just
tough.
there is a reason that the engineers are professional engineers. We're not. We're voice actors. So a lot of people think that they have the ability to do everything that the sound engineer is doing at Disney Television Animation, and it's like,
Right.
oh no, you're not. They are very, very good at their job. That's why they have it. So,
Did you do a Phineas character on the middle?
no, no, I did not.
Were you on the middle?
No, I think if you're finding that online somewhere, I think it's because there's an episode of Phineas and Ferb that plays in like an episode of The Middle or
Okay,
something.
I'm sure that's what it is. Yeah, I was trying to because we watched the middle, and I think they're bringing it back. Uh,
Are they really?
yeah, I think it's like the full cast is coming back,
Oh my goodness. Okay.
which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston's a little bit bigger name than he was at the time, although he was still
Oh,
pretty.
that's No, you're thinking of Malcolm in the
Oh,
Middle.
I'm in the Malcolm in the Middle. What's
Yeah.
wait
The Middle is
a
a
minute.
completely different show. The
Yeah,
Middle
yeah,
is
yeah. Remind me who was the actor in the middle? That's probably why I'm screwing it up. I'm getting it
I
mixed up
actually
with
don't.
Malcolm in the Middle.
Like I said, I did not work on this show. They
Yeah,
just
yeah.
had
I have to look at.
Phineas
Yeah,
and Ferb in
you're
it.
exactly right. Yeah, it's. I'm getting that mixed up with Malcolm in the Middle, and I was like, I do
Yeah.
not remember you on that show.
No, Malcolm in the Middle is very different. But yes, they are remaking Malcolm in the Middle.
They're remaking Malcolm. Yeah, yeah. I was totally getting
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
those mixed. Yeah, I'm having the same trouble. I know that the middle was a show, but I'm drawing a blank on those.
Yeah, no, it was an ABC show. I know that, but I did not watch it, so I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
I
yeah. Well, that cleared that up.
couldn't
Yeah,
give you
that
the
was just
details.
me being silly. I
Oh, you're good.
had those messed up.
It's all good. It's
But
all
yeah,
good.
I am kind of excited about Malcolm coming back just to see.
I will be honest. I never watched that show, not
Yeah.
once.
Well, I'm
I've never
just
seen a single episode.
it we watched it as a family. I couldn't tell you much about it, but just I'm curious, how that plays out. Does
I think it's like a special run of it. Like I don't think they're bringing it
No, I
back.
don't think they're I'm assuming that maybe we're getting some grandkids at this point.
Maybe,
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe that's how the
Fruit,
story
like
goes.
I know so little about that show that I just know what all the actors look like. I don't know what the storylines even were. Like
Yeah,
I don't know
that's fair.
what was
That's
going
fair.
on in that show. But it's good we're keeping Bryan Cranston working.
That's right. We got to keep him busy.
Yeah, as long as we
Yeah,
keep him on TV.
well, I do know that you were in the movie Role Models because we love that one
Yes.
as a family, and that's Paul Rudd, Sean William Scott is he's so hilarious. But you were great in that.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that was an awesome movie. Really, really funny. Everyone in that movie is super, super funny.
Yeah,
And just countless talented actors who were either already very established or like right about to become
right.
super famous, like right after that movie. Um, and that was just a really fun time watching everyone improvise constantly on set and learning from them. I
Well, you were probably what or mid-teens or so when that came out.
yeah, I was like 16.
Yeah,
So it was in between when I was shooting Everybody Hates Chris. I was like on hiatus from Everybody Hates Chris. And it was awesome. I mean, Paul Rudd's a really great guy. So is Sean William Scott. And I just got that role because I auditioned for one of the leads in it and I screen tested with Paul Rudd.
yeah.
And I did not book that role, but then Paul Rudd was like, I like this kid. He was really funny and just had me do something else in the movie. So that was very nice of him
That's
to
pretty great.
let me go do something else random on the show.
Yeah, that's actually pretty great.
or on the
You know,
film
because
side.
you obviously made an impact.
Yeah, which is all you can really hope to do in an audition room because they're
That's it.
always so unpredictable and so weird.
Yeah. Well, do you prefer the self tapes or do you prefer to be in the room?
Oh no, I prefer to be in the room.
Yeah.
Self tapes are the worst. You want to be able to work with the people who are
Yeah.
making it. You want to be directed by them.
Well, that's kind of, I mean, not that I could act, but I mean, self tape, yeah, you've got control, so you can kind of pick the one you like the best, but you can't get redirected. If it doesn't fit what they're looking for, you're just done.
Yeah, yeah. So I prefer to have the ability for them to go, hey, I think you're on the right track.
Yeah.
Let's direct you and get you to the spot that we know we want this character to be. And you don't really have that with self tapes at all.
Yeah. No, you don't.
So I much prefer going into the room, but that is really rare nowadays.
Are you, I know you've done some singing here and there, but are you musical? Do you play an instrument?
Yeah, I play the piano as a hobby, but I mean
Oh, yeah.
I the most singing that I do is I sing a lot on Phineas and Ferb. I
Yeah.
sing all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I sing pretty consistently on the show. And it's awesome because there are a lot of really, really great songs that now I've gotten a chance to sing that are really wonderful. You know, our writers write these amazing songs and then I get to come in
They
and I get to
really
sing
do a
with
good
it.
job with the music.
They do a great job. They do a great
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I know we gotta wrap up. My son has asked that I get you to say "get on the trike" as Phineas.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's something that people love. I just posted about this on my TikTok recently because everyone loves this line. But yeah, before we wrap up, I can say for you, Candace, get on the trike.
Yeah.
There
Have
you
you
go.
ever tried? I want to give you a couple here. Have you ever tried saying as Phineas saying lines from other movies?
I tend not to because I try not to do anything as Phineas that Phineas wouldn't do, and
Oh,
so
yeah, that actually makes
yeah, I
sense.
like to keep the integrity of the character and keep him true to his personality and things that he would say.
Yeah,
So
fair
I try
enough.
not to have him say things from other things that wouldn't fit his character, you know?
Yeah, no, that actually makes a lot of sense, and
Yeah.
that's I get that choice. So yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, yeah, it's something I stick to, especially because it's a kid's show and I'll have people asking me for videos of Phineas saying a lot of stuff. And I'm always just like, no, I keep him saying things that he would say.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that also, gets you out of any type of issues that you might have. You just avoid them.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
I do really care about the character and, I care about him always being represented the right way and being presented the right way because it's an important character to me and it's an important character to Disney in general.
Well,
And
and you've honestly been doing Phineas longer than you haven't been doing Phineas.
I know it's that big of a part of my life. It really is. It's hard to explain everything that happens, on a show like this to someone who is on the outside of it because it
Yeah.
has been such a big part of my life and it has been so important to me and so many other people. So I uh I just hope I get to I'll take another 20 years of it. We are hoping to become, Disney Plus's and Disney Channel's version of SpongeBob or Adventure Time,
That's right.
or The Simpsons or Family Guy, these shows that are evergreen and that can keep going. Disney doesn't have anything like that, and we would love to be that for them.
Well, yeah, if Disney's going to do it, Phineas and Ferb would be the one, I think.
I think so too, and we really hope so. And there's countless ideas that our writers have cooking for future seasons. I already know that, but it's just a matter of whether they let us
That's
continue or
right.
not.
Yeah, we know how that goes. There's a lot that goes into those
There's
decisions.
there's so much so many decisions that yeah, it's all far above my pay grade.
So we mentioned a little bit about you wanting to do more Disney, Marvel, that stuff. Is there a genre that you haven't really got to do that you would like to do?
Yeah, I would definitely love to work on some anime. Because I've
Oh,
actually never worked on anime, and I'd like to
yeah.
work on more video games. I've worked on some video games, I worked on 3 Final Fantasy video games, which were
Oh yeah,
awesome. And Final Fantasy is a massive, massive
huge.
franchise. But I would love to work on a lot more video games. So those are goals I have. Is I want to work on anime and I want to work on more video games in the future.
Are you a gamer?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What's your game? What's your go-to?
Oh, I have a lot, but right now I've just been still playing Marvel Rivals.
Oh,
Playing a lot of Marvel Rivals.
that's a
And
great game.
yeah, yeah. I think the last like full story-based game that I played all the way through was Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a
but
good
yeah,
one too.
I love playing video games, and I would love to be part of more of them. That would be fun.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's and honestly, the video games are getting so good. It's almost like watching a movie sometimes when you're playing.
The performances are incredible. They're
Yeah.
absolutely astounding. And whether that be mocap or just regular, vocal capture, I would love to be part of it for sure.
Yeah. I'm gonna make some calls.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, Vincent, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time. This has been terrific. Such a fan. I'm so happy that you're getting to do Phineas again.
Thank you. I am too. I hope it's just the beginning of something new with Phineas and Ferb, and we're so happy to be back. So thanks for taking the time to talk to me about it.
Yeah, of course, of course. Before I let you go, you mentioned a couple things that you can't talk about.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you're working on that you can kind of give us something to look forward to?
The only thing I think I'm allowed to talk about right now that I'm also working on is there's a series on Disney that is
Mhm.
called like the Cheapy Verse, where it's kind of
Yeah.
these really cute, adorable baby versions of characters, and I work on that show as well. I can't mention the other stuff I'm working on, but
Are you playing a
I
baby?
no,
Okay.
I'm not. But I am playing a lot of different characters. So I'm playing, quite a handful of characters on that other series as well. And that one I'm allowed to talk about. But otherwise I can't share the
Yeah,
other ones
yeah,
yet.
yeah. Well, I'm assuming once you're able to let us know about those other ones, you'll put that on social media. So where can we find you on
Oh,
social?
I will. Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitch. It's all at the Vincent Martella, my YouTube at the Vincent Martella. So if you just go follow me on all those platforms, you'll always know about what I'm up to, what I'm doing, and see a lot of fun content along the way.
You doing any conventions for the rest of the year?
Oh, a lot of them. Yeah. So you'll
Yeah.
have to follow my socials to see which ones I'm going to be at. I'm going to be at a Galaxy Con in New Orleans this weekend,
Oh,
but
excellent.
there's a ton coming up for the rest of the year. So I
Yeah,
love
GalaxyCon does a good job with their.
Galaxy Con are amazing. I love their conventions. I love going to
I'm
those.
gonna give you my best convention story. It's very quick.
Yeah.
So back in the late '80s, I was working a comic book convention, and John Byrne, who at that time was working on X-Men, and it was so popular in the '80s, he was the headliner. So I get there, and I'd brought some of my comic books from the store to get signed, and the line for John Byrne was just out the door. I was like, I'm gonna be in that line all day.
Yeah.
But there was this guy next to him, this table next to him, artist. Nobody, nobody was at that table. Well, I knew who he was because he was working on this comic called Infinity Inc. for DC. And so I went and talked to him. Well, ended up, I spent the whole day with him, and he signed, I don't know, 100 books of mine, something crazy, because it was just us talking. Well, then a few months later, he landed Spider-Man, and it's Todd McFarlane.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
but nobody knew him at that convention. And a couple months later, I saw him at a convention, and his line was out the door. You couldn't get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to spend several hours with him just talking comics. It's the best.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. So that's my good
Super
convention
fun.
story.
Yeah. No, they are always a great way to really like interact and connect with fans
Yeah,
of the work. And you get to do a fun panel and talk to people and, let them ask questions and stuff. So I love doing Comic Cons. They're a lot of fun.
yeah, yeah. They're the best. They're the best. Well, Vincent, thank you so much for the time, and I hope at some point we catch you at a convention. We can meet in person.
I hope so too. Yeah, to all your listeners, I hope you all enjoy the new season of Phineas and Ferb. And yeah, give me a follow on social media and say what's up.
100%. 100%. Okay, hold on one second. All right, I tried. I had some quotes I was going to try to get Vincent to say, but completely respect the fact that he's so protective of the Phineas property, as he should be. Good for him. That that's pretty great. I love when actors are invested in the projects that they're working on. And I know most of the time they are, but not always. But definitely Vincent is very committed to the roles that he plays. So that was just terrific. I'll tell you the one Brett had asked that we try a Star Wars quote like Luke, I'm your father. I was thinking more, my favorite movie is Tombstone. So something like I'm your Huckleberry was kind of what I was thinking. But then I also thought it might be kind of humorous to do some Mean Girl quotes. So, on Wednesdays we wear pink, something like that. That would have been fun. Completely understand why Vincent was not wanting to do it, but he did give us the get on the trike quote. So pretty great. Vincent, so talented, extremely talented as a voice actor. Really, really talented as an actor and a presence when he's on screen. Always enjoyed that. I think we've hit most of what I wanted to touch on. He did have an appearance on New Amsterdam. Amsterdam. He was on The Mentalist. Both of those really good shows and roles. But otherwise, I think we hit on everything. He was Patrick on The Walking Dead. Just absolutely terrific. Love him as Jason Todd. He's my Jason Todd, as far as, Brett and I always talk, our Batman's Kevin Conroy, our Joker, Mark Hamill. Jason Todd is definitely Vincent. So absolutely love that. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you're a fan of the voice acting realm, we have had a ton of just the best voice actors, guys like Rob Paulson, and just anybody you can think of. We have probably had them on the show, and we've got a playlist, a voice acting playlist that you can check out. I think you'll find a ton of people that you enjoy, and it includes a lot of anime actors. So if you're a fan of that genre, definitely check that out. Just a quick mention, I've been very open on this show that last year I was diagnosed with Parkinson's. I'm doing great. The medicine is very helpful, but I do have times where it gets very tight around my mouth, and it causes me difficulty enunciating or pronouncing certain words, and sometimes I'll slur or not quite finish the word. It's so frustrating. If you noticed any of that, because I'm noticing a little bit where my jaw's a little tight, that's what's going on. So it's something that I can't completely control, but the medicine definitely helps. It just tends to wear off, and I've got another little issue in there where my body actively fights against the Parkinson medicine, and it just gobbles it up. So it eats through it really fast. I'm on some other medicine to help slow it down, but it tends to wear off kind of quickly with that. So anyway, that's long. That was too long, but that's what's going on if you noticed it. But I'm doing great. So no worries. If you're finding us for the first time, you picked a pretty good episode to join us on. I hope you enjoyed it. We would love to have your support. It's easy to do. It's free. We don't ask for any money. We just ask for your subscription. Doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us out so much. We're going to hit episode 1000 early next week. We're so excited about it. I played with the idea of trying to get a big name for our 1000th episode, and decided we would just Brett and I decided we would just do one with the two of us. That's how we started. It was just the two of us on screen, and we thought that was appropriate for the 1000. A rare appearance by Brett. He doesn't do too many of the on-camera stuff, but you can look forward to that next week. Our website's meistercon.com. You can find all of those episodes, audio and video versions. If we're doing anything in studio, if we're going on location, if we're covering a convention that Vincent's at, we'll put it on the website, meistercon.com. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please do subscribe. That really helps us out, helps us to continue to bring these terrific guests. I think we're up to 1,100 or so guests that we've had on the show, and that includes we've done several panels where we might have 6 to 10 guests at one time, but we're on about 1,100 guests, so we're pretty happy with that. YouTube channel, MeisterCon Pod. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody.